another Unearthed Arcana again. This time we're going to get a new Cleric, a new Druid, and a new Wizard, and they're pretty interesting. I find myself thinking again we're going to be outclassing some other classes, but I'm sure you guys want to know what I'm talking about, so stay tuned. What's going on, guys? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and we're just going to jump right into it. Unearthed Arcana, Cleric, Druid, and Wizard, Divine Domain of Twilight, Circle of Wildfire, and Arcane Tradition of Onomancy, the magic of true names. I thought that was interesting because True Namer was a class in 3.5 from Tome of Magic, I think. But let's just dive in. That's not it. It's right up here. So we'll go through them. We'll make our call. I think they're doing a better job of keeping these more balanced overall, but I want your guys' opinion, so here we go. Twilight Domain. We've got the Raven Queen in here. Oh, look, the Traveler. I wonder if this is anything tied to Critical Role. Funny how that works, huh? So does that then mean that the Traveler is Dungeons and Dragons legal or real now? It's very confusing. Some of these other ones, Hestia, you've got Ilmater, Helm, other existing deity, either mythology or D&D, but they threw the Traveler in there, so that kind of interesting. Anyway, your domain spells. Fairy Fire, Sleep, Darkness, Invisibility, Aura of Vitality, Leomund's Tiny Hut, Aura of Life, Greater Invisibility, Circle of Power, and Dream. So you see there's a lot of ethereal, almost like fayness, is kind of what I want to say. Fairy Fire, Sleep, Darkness, Invisibility. But one thing I will say I've noticed with all of these, and this kind of either worries me or bothers me to a small degree, is that all of the classes are getting more stuff at early levels. So normally, a cleric will typically get something, some proficiency, some bonus of some kind at level 1, and then one feature. You get that, a feature, and then another feature. And it's the same thing with the Druid and the same thing with the Wizard. So for some of these, this is, again, yes, I will put this out there because people seem to not understand that I don't know that Unearthed Arcana is playtest. Yes, I do. Obviously, I've been doing these videos for 5 years. I know that Unearthed Arcana is playtest. But the point is, there are certain things that come out in Unearthed Arcana that what's in the playtest is exactly what we get in the final product. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And that worries me that we're kind of getting to that philosophy where they'll make something better than it was because they want to not deal with things in the past. They want to keep moving forward, making things better, and in doing so, they don't go back and fix things from the past, so certain new stuff is just going to be more powerful. And it sort of sounds okay if you spin it the right way, but this is also what causes power creep in every kind of card game and things. Old stuff sucks, so new stuff is better, so everybody plays the new stuff. That's enough of that, though. What do you get? Proficiency with martial weapons and heavy armor. Okay, pretty standard stuff. Eyes of the Night. You have dark vision with no maximum range, which is interesting because that's never happened before in 5th edition. And you can see in dim light as if it were bright light and darkness as if it was dim light. As an action, you can magically give the benefit of this feature to any number of creatures you can see within 10 feet of you. This shared benefit lasts for 10 minutes, and you can do this a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier per long rest. So not only do you have unlimited dark vision all the time, you can choose to give it to any number of creatures, not 5 including you or 6 including you. You can give it to whoever you want as long as they're within 10 feet of you. So I guess it's limited by how many people you can fit next to you. And it lasts for 10 minutes, so it's not like crazy overpowered, but the fact that it's unlimited dark vision and you could just give it to whoever you want. When I first read this, I thought it was you could give it to one other creature and you'd have it and they'd have it. And it's wisdom modifier times per long rest. And I'm okay with the wisdom modifier times per long rest. We've seen that with clerics before. But to give this ability to any number of people, it's a level 1 ability. It's not crazy overpowered, but it just seems like it goes against a lot of the other things that have existed for clerics. But let's keep moving on. And then we get our third feature at level 1. As an action, you can give one creature you touch, including possibly yourself, advantage on the next initiative roll they make. This benefit ends immediately after the roll if you use the feature again. So basically, someone in your party is always going to have advantage on initiative because you're always going to use this feature. And then, once the initiative is complete and the combat's over, you're just going to use it again. So it's interesting that you can give it to other people. Obviously, certain classes get this, but this is like, what is that, like a 4th level barbarian? Like, that's like the ability that they get, advantage on initiative. And you can just have this at level 1 all the time or give it to somebody else on top of unlimited dark vision and proficiency with martial weapons and heavy armor. It just seems like a lot again, think about it this way. As a 1-level dip, you're getting Fairy Fire, Sleep, Cleric cantrips, other Cleric 1st level spells, and those 3 sets of abilities for 1 level investment. Level 2, you're going to get Channel Divinity, which is Twilight Sanctuary. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and a sphere of twilight emanates from you. Centered on you, 30-foot radius is filled with dim light, but that's not an issue for you because you can see in the dark. The sphere moves with you, lasts for 1 minute until you are incapacitated or die. Whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn in the sphere, you grant the creature one of the following benefits. You can grant the creature 1d8 temporary hit points, or end the effect causing it to be charmed or frightened. So I like this ability. I like basically you can give people temporary hit points or end effects on them. I like that. They also put in the temporary hit points don't stack thing to not confuse people. But the fact that it's dim light means that perception checks are at disadvantage. So you're harder to see, except it won't be hard for you guys because potentially your party. So there's synergy between this and the kind of giving people the unlimited dark vision. Because it specifically states it's dim light. It doesn't say that it's dark. At 6, you get Steps of the Brave, which is you have advantage on saving throws against being frightened, which is, that's fine. I'm fine with that. And if you're in dim light or darkness, you can use a bonus action to magically give yourself a flying speed equal to your walking speed until the end of your next turn. So it's not like it's crazy powerful because it's only until the end of your next turn. So that's not too bad. And what's also interesting is it synergizes very well with Channel Divinity, because that Channel Divinity radius of dim light travels with you. So you can activate that, and then while that's up, you can then fly until the end of your next turn. But there's nothing to say, use a bonus action to magically give yourself a flying speed equal to your walking speed until the end of your next turn. So then on your next turn, you could use a bonus action again to give it to you again, and just perpetuate this until your dim light disappears. Or if you're outside and it's dark out, just every turn waste a bonus action, or waste is a strong word, bonus action to give yourself flight. At level 8, we get Divine Strike. Every cleric, most martial clerics get this, right, where you're going to get an extra d8 of damage at level 8, and then an extra d8 of damage at level 14, and that is psychic damage, which is pretty solid because psychic damage is not heavily resisted in 5th edition. And lastly, we get Midnight Shroud. You can harness the shrouding power of the night whenever you cast a darkness spell using a spell slot, which you do have as a domain spell. You can choose a number of creatures that you can see, including yourself, equal to your wisdom modifier. Those creatures can see through the darkness. So this kind of gives you stuff. I like this ability. I don't know if it's the best capstone ability for, being the capstone in your clerical domain compared to some of the other ones, which are like flat out damage resistance all the time, or flight, or, maximum healing from any healing magic. This is, you have to use darkness as a spell slot, and then you can choose a minimum typically of about 5 people. But that 5 would have to include you as well, and they can see through it. It's good. It synergizes exceptionally well with the other stuff in the class, and I do like that. But I think that could be a little bit stronger. I think maybe it would be like you can cast darkness without expending a spell slot, and then you could do that. That would make more sense to me. Maybe it's once without using a spell slot or something like that. So let's move on to the Circle of Wildfire. And I haven't really wanted to play a Druid in 5th edition in a long time or at all, and this is changing my mind. I really want to play this a lot. So at 2nd level, you're going to get Firebolt as a cantrip, which is great because Firebolt's one of the best fire spells. And you're going to get your Circle spells, which they seem to like to do this now. Originally, you only got the Circle spells as a Circle of the Land Druid. Now a lot of the stuff a lot of ones are getting circle spells and then other features. That was like one of the key features of the Circle of the Land Druid, was these cool extra spells that you got. And because like Circle of the Moon doesn't get those, but Circle of the Land did. That was its main thing. I mean, it also had the ability to regen spells, which was cool. But let's see what we get. Locate animal or plants, Scorching Ray, Fireball, Plant Growth, Aura of Life, Fire Shield, Flame Strike, and Raise Dead. So it's interesting because it's got a dichotomy. It's like, so I really like light clerics because you're a cleric, right, which has inborn healing, and you get basically access to high-level, powerful fire magics, right? You're going to get Fireball, you're going to get Scorching Ray, you're going to get Flame Sphere. So you're a cleric that can blow people up with fire. And I really like that because I think that's an interesting thing because you can heal as a cleric but also blow stuff up. And this is a druid who can also heal, but then also is going to get some fireball type magic with our Firebolt, Scorching Ray. But we also get Raise Dead for free, which is nice. So we're great, and we haven't even touched the features yet. So at second level, you get a pretty great feature here, which is Summon Wildfire. As an action, you can expend one of your wild shape features to summon your Wildfire Spirit rather than assuming a beast form. And I've stated this in many occasions. This is why I love the original Circle of Spores Druid and why I hate the current one. Anything that lets you as a druid, because we all know that Circle of the Moon druids get a great benefit for their wild shape. It's a bonus action, and they can turn into legitimately frightening things to do severe damage to people, or just to boost their survivability. So giving druids an option, certain subclasses of druids, that they can use their wild shape to do something other than wild shape, I think is really cool, and that's what this is. So as an action, you can expend one wild shape feature to summon your Wildfire Spirit rather than assuming a beast form. It appears in an unoccupied space of your choice within 30 feet. Each creature within 10 feet of the spirit other than you, when it appears, must make a... Each creature within 10 feet other than you, when it appears, must make a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC or take 2d10 fire damage. So you're using your wild shape as an action. You choose where you're going to place this thing within 30 feet, and you can choose to do it, and then also it damages people. So it has, not only does it summon this thing onto the field to do other things, it also just does inborn straight out damage right out the gate. Now it does say saving throw or take the damage, so if they succeed, they take no damage, so it's not half on a success. It is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. See the creature's game statistics in the Wildfire stat block. We'll get to that. You determine its appearance. This, I think, is a typo. It says some spirits take the form of a humanoid figure. Oh no, I must have reread it. So of gnarled branches covered in flames, some may look like beasts wreathed in fire. In combat, it shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. It can only... the only action it takes on its turn is the dodge action, unless you take a bonus action on your turn to command it to take one of the following actions in its stat block, or take the dash, disengage, help, or hide action. It manifests for 1 hour until it is reduced to 0 hit points, or until you use your wild shape feature again. So once again, we find ourselves in a scenario where I feel like we've made yet another class with a summonable pet that is infinitely better than the Beastmaster Ranger in one small thing. That at level 2, when you get it, you can use you can use a bonus action, to either have it... it will take the dodge action regardless, so it does that automatically. And then you can use a bonus action on your turn to either have it dash, disengage, help, or hide, which is great, or have it use one of its actions in its stat block. So let's look at its stat block. It's a small elemental creature, 13 AC. Its hit points are equal to the Wildfire Spirit's Constitution modifier, which is a 2, plus your Wisdom modifier, which whatever that is, plus 5 times your level in the class. So here it's 10 plus your Wisdom plus their Con, which is 2. So it's going to be decently survivable, and it's only going to get better as you go. It has proficiency in Dex, Con, and Wisdom saving throws with a +4 bonus in each, which is great because those are the 3 most common spells. Immunity to fire, immunity to charm, frightened, grappled, prone, and restrain. It has dark vision, and it understands the languages you speak. It also has the soul bond feature. The following numbers increase by 1 when your proficiency bonus increases by 1. the skill and saving throw bonuses, so these and this nature skill, the bonuses to hit and damage of its flame seed, and the bonus damage to its fiery teleportation. Flame seed starts as a +4 to hit with a range of 30 feet, does a d6 +2 fire damage. This to hit and the plus fire bonus will increase as you level up when your proficiency goes up. It also can fly, by the way, with a hover speed as well. And then fiery teleportation. The spirit and each willing creature of your choice within 5 feet of it teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. Each creature within 10 feet of that space that the spirit left must succeed on a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC or take 1d6 +2 fire damage. Again, if it succeeds, it's going to take 0 damage, but that extra damage is going to increase. So not only can it teleport potentially, however many, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, like almost like 6 to 8 people, it can teleport 30 feet. Yes, it's a short rest or long rest recharge, but it can do that. It can do flat out fire damage at a range. It's going to be increasing survivability. When it's summoned, it does fire damage. This just seems like a way better pet than a Beastmaster Ranger could ever want to have. And we're not done. We're only at level 2, guys. We haven't even gone past level 2. At level 6, you're going to get Enhanced Bond. Whenever you cast a spell that deals fire damage or restores hit points, whenever you deal fire damage or heal someone while your spirit is summoned, roll a d8. And you gain the bonus roll to that spell equal to the number rolled. So if this spirit exists, it lasts for an hour. If you have a wild shape and you've summoned it, and you deal fire damage, you're going to deal an extra 1d8 of fire damage. If you heal somebody, you're going to heal them for an extra d8 of healing. In addition, when you cast a spell with a range other than self, you can choose to have the spell originate from the Wildfire Spirit. So this is like everything that a Trickster Cleric wants, but better, because when you invoke Duplicity as a Trickster Cleric, you can use them as like your other, like they get the benefit of keeping them close. They get disadvantage on like attack rolls, and you can use them as your casting point. But now you can use your Wildfire Spirit as a casting point. It also increases the effectiveness of the spells if they're damage or healing, and the spirit can still do its own thing. I love this class. It's great. It might be overpowered, but I'm a little biased because I'm enjoying it. Flames of Life. When a larger, smaller creature that you can see dies within 30 feet of you or your Wildfire Spirit, again, you don't have to do the killing, they just need to die. You can use your reaction to cause primal flames to spring from the body. When a creature you can see touches these flames, the creature regains hit points or takes fire damage, your choice, equal to 2d10 plus your wisdom modifier. The flames vanish after a creature has touched them or after 1 minute. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum of once per day. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So someone in your party or an enemy kills someone in your party and they die, you can use your reaction to have flames spring from the body. If one of your allies touches those flames, you can choose to heal them plus 2d10 plus your wisdom modifier. So that's great. Or if an enemy touches them or a party member pushes an enemy into it, they're going to take 2d10 plus your wisdom modifier in damage. And that damage is no save. They just take the damage outright. And that persists for a minute. I can definitely see people doing the whole carry a bag of rats or a box of, ants or something. Kill an ant. That creature died within 30 feet of me. Now I'm going to summon this up and get more healing. Tack this onto Healing Spirit as a druid, and you're just a heal bot, like, forever. And then lastly, Blazing Endurance. When a fatal blow drops you to... even fatal blows only fuel your defiance. If your hit points drop to 0 and you don't die outright, you instead drop to 1 hit point, gain temporary hit points equal to 5 times your druid level, and each creature of your choice within 30 feet of you that you can see takes fire damage equal to 2d10 plus your druid level. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again to finish a long rest. So it's a death ward for free, but it's a death ward that when you pop back up, you get a ridiculous amount of temporary hit points. So you're going to be at 1 HP plus, at this point, if you're level 20, you're going to be up to 100 temporary hit points plus your 1 regular hit point. And then any creature you want within 30 feet of you is going to take 2d10 fire damage equal 2d10 plus your druid level. So they're going to take that damage. If that damage is enough to drop them to 0 hit points, that could trigger Flames of Life, because this does not require you to use a reaction. This just happens automatically. So Blazing Endurance triggers, you go pop back up with a ton of temporary hit points. Again, those temporary hit points are going to hang around. You're going to deal damage. If you drop anybody to 0 hit points, it's going to trigger Flames of Life. Okay, so that's that. Unfortunately, Enhanced Bond only triggers when you use a spell that deals fire damage, not this, so that won't trigger as well. But either way, still very cool. A very powerful druid subclass. I will caveat it though, it's heavily focused in fire damage, and fire damage is heavily resisted by a lot of creatures. Descent into Avernus is a recent thing, so fiends are all resistant or immune to fire. But if you want to play a cool druid with a pet, which is something that I love to do, this is a fantastic class. Like, I'm trying to find a one-shot or a game where I can play this in, because I'm really severely want to play this class, like, a lot. And then lastly, we have the Onomancy Wizard, which is our true naming wizard who uses the magic of words and true names. This is another one that's going to get 3 features at level 2 when you choose the subclass. The first one is a language and proficiency with calligrapher's tools, so that's not too crazy, but then you get 2 other features. Extract name. As a bonus action, you target one creature within 60 feet of you. You must make a wisdom saving throw equal to your spell save DC. On a successful save, you discern that this magic failed, and you can't use this feature on the target again. On a failed save, the target is charmed by you until the end of your next turn, and you mentally learn the charmed target's true name, or the fact that the target lacks a name. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier until you finish a long rest. And that may seem kind of not great, because it's just a minor charm effect, which is nice, but so many things you get later on are feuded off your ability to know a target's true name, so it's going to come into play. And then Fateful Naming, this is crazy, right? You're going to get Bane and Bless as wizard spells. You add them to your spell book. They don't count as against your number of spells prepared or your number, and you just have them. So you get 2 spells you would not normally get in Bane and Bless, which is great for a wizard. And you can cast either spell without expending a spell slot if you speak the true name of one target of the spell as part of the casting. You can cast the spell in this way a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier. You regain all uses when you finish a long rest. So not only are you getting Bane and Bless for free, always prepared. So if you have someone in your party that you know, and you're not facing other Onomancers, I guess, and you know one of your party members' true names, or you use your own true name, you can cast Bless on your party without expending a spell slot, potentially up to 5 times a day, blessing 3 people in your party for free. Or if you happen to use the bonus action to extract the name from an enemy, you could then cast Bane without having to spend a spell slot. So you're getting potentially a minor charm effect without expending a spell slot, and Bane and Bless potentially up to 5 times a day without expending a spell slot. Again, I know that's having a 20 in intelligence, which you may or may not have depending on how you deal with stats, but just throwing it out there. Then we get Resonant Utterance, which is essentially a really cool, almost like a version of meta magic for a wizard, or similar to the old lore druid's abilities. So when you gain this feature, you learn 2 resonants of your choice, which are detailed in the resonant options. Each time you gain a level in this class, you can replace one resonant you know with a different one. You can use one resonant when you cast a wizard spell with a spell slot and speak the true name of one creature targeted by the spell. Speaking the name is part of the casting of the spell. You can use a resonance a number of times equal to half your wizard level, rounded down, and you regain them all when you finish a long rest. So again, this extract, which is also nice because your level 2 ability, extract name, is going to be useful the entire length of your class. It's never going to get outclassed by other features, or it's just going to be something you're never going to use. So many of your abilities are keyed off of that. So let's look at the resonance. Absorption. When you cast a spell that deals damage to a target, you gain 3d6 temporary hit points, and these increase by a d6 at level 10 to 4d6 and up to 5d6 at level 14. Devastation. If the spell requires the creature to make a saving throw, they have disadvantage on the first save they make against that saving throw, or against that spell. Dissolution. The first time the named creature takes damage from the spell, they take an extra 2d8 force damage. This increases to 3d8 at level 10 and 4d8 at 14. That's just extra free damage. That's awesome. Nullification. If the target is affected by any spells, you know those spells, and you can attempt to end one of your choice by succeeding on an intelligence check equal to the DC 10 plus the level of spell of the chosen spell. So how great would it be to throw a fireball at an enemy and then like strip one of their spells that's either strip one of the spells that's helping them, right? Like they're under the effects of mirror image or something, or like you get hit by a fireball. Also, you lose mirror image now because I'm just going to get rid of it. It's pretty awesome. Puppetry, I like this one a lot. This one has a lot of potential. The first time the named creature takes damage from the spell, you can knock the creature prone or move it up to 10 feet, either directly towards you or away from you. So again, this potentially could give you almost like a minor repelling blast, like the Warlock has, where they can knock people back. But you could use a spell to knock somebody off a cliff, pull them in so they can't run away so someone else can grapple them or whatever the case may be, or just flat out knock them prone so the rest of the party that are melee fighters can just wail on them with advantage. And then lastly, Sympathy. If the named creature is within range of the spell, you target the creature with the spell. This is fantastic. Even if you can't, if the named creature is within the range of whatever the spell is, you can target the creature with the spell even if you can't see them or if they have total cover against the spell. So this just throws out the window the ability, like you can't counterspell someone you can't see casting a spell. Yes, you can. You can't target me with this, hold person or this whatever spell because you can't see me because I'm invisible. Doesn't matter. Yes, I can. Level 10, I think this is a beautiful move here. Just you learn 2 more resonance. So you learn 2 at level 6 and 2 at level 10, and that's it. You're going to know 4 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you'll have 2 you don't know. Reminder, you can swap them as you level up. And lastly, Relentless Naming. You have learned how to bypass a named creature's defenses against certain types of damage. When you cast a spell that deals damage to a creature whose true name you speak as part of the casting of the spell, which could also be tied into having a resonant on top of that, you can cause the spell to either deal force or psychic damage to the creature instead of the spell's normal damage. So pick any really high damage spell that you want and have it deal either force or psychic damage, 2 of the least resisted damage types in all of 5e. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think the Cleric is probably the weakest out of the 3. It's the one that I'm kind of least excited about. I am intrigued to see, sometimes, and people have brought this up with the with the one Warlock, people brought this up that they're wondering if Critical Role is directly influencing the Unearthed Arcana, because it seemed like that could have been what was happening with Ford. And again, I don't want to bore people who don't know Critical Role, but does this mean Jester's going to shift to the Twilight Domain? Because this is specifically references the Traveler? I don't know. I think the Twilight Cleric, it's interesting. I think there's definitely going to be some people who really love it. I know people that I've played games with that this is right up their alley. They absolutely are going to want to do this because, again, you're going to get all the features, but then all the base stuff of the Cleric, which is cool. I'm just not a huge fan of it. I'm sure there's a ways I haven't even talked about multi-classing with any of these. I'm sure there's interesting ways you can combine different features to make stuff really shine. I absolutely love this Wildfire Druid, though. Looking for group, please. Someone come run a game for me where I can play a Wildfire Druid. I absolutely love this thing. And the Onomancy Wizard. I don't play wizards as often as I'd like, but this one's pretty interesting because it's as close as you're going to get essentially to meta magic for a wizard. And then you also have other cool things. You just got Bane and Blessed, a really great, one of the best buff spells and a really good debuff spell that are just kind of freebies for you that you would never normally have. And you can also do crazy stuff with your spells now. Increase the damage, give temporary hit points, just target people even if you can't see them as long as they're within range. I mean, think about this. Someone casts greater invisibility on themselves and you want to dispel the invisibility. You can't dispel it because Dispel Magic says you can't dispel a thing unless you can see it. But yes, you can. With that Sympathy feature, you can just be yep, Dispel Magic. If they're within 60 feet, I think is the range, or 120 feet, whatever the range is for Dispel Magic, it just works. And the fact that you could turn a fireball into a force damage fireball, that's great. But you could add on the dissolution feature and bump up the damage by another 4d8 potentially at level 14. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Am I too biased on this? I'm sure a lot of you are going, man, he really shit on that barbarian and he shit on that monk pretty hard. And now he's just like head over heels in love with these. And partially, maybe it's because I really like cleric, druids, and wizards. That could be it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure. But I think the part of the reason that I really like these is that they're unique and they're different from other spells and classes that are out there. Other classes, subclasses that are out there. And they let you do cool things. And like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't really like them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback. If you like this video, well then thumbs down it. No, I'm kidding. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, tell me. I want to know why you don't like it. Do you not like the lights that I have the lights off behind me? Do you not like the volume that I'm speaking at? Let me know. I'm trying to make things better for you guys. There's a ton of new people here coming to the YouTube channel. I want to make it the best experience for as many people as I possibly can. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on when new videos come out. And if you want to see me handle some stuff live, whether it be gameplay, character building, and we're going to try to do a world building stream on Monday nights now, there's a link to the Twitch channel down below if you want to see that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.